Hey everybody, it's Vinci, better known as Moiciara, and I'm back with another video for you guys today. Today's topic is going to be about being aggressive and being submissive in a relationship because clearly you need there to be both in order for the relationship to be progressive, because if you guys are both aggressive and you guys both submissive, clearly it just will not work. So I wanted to dive deeper into talking about being in relationships and being aggressive and submissive. Like, clearly, in more common relationships, usually the man is more aggressive, the woman's more submissive, because those are normal society standard roles or what have you. But you got to think about same-sex relationships and people such as me, like how it's a struggle because, like, I'm not extremely aggressive by a long shot, and I'm not extremely submissive by a long shot, because I have um, dominant, a very dominant, like, I stand up for myself. I can't really, I'm looking for the words, but I don't want to make this video too long trying to wrap my head around the words. So, but I have a very dominant characteristic about me or whatever, like when it comes to me standing up for myself, whatever, and which is hard because I'm one of those people who everything don't need. I was watching something recently, and the therapist said, she was like, what did she say? She was like, you don't always have to show up for the fight. I'm telling y'all, when she said you don't always have to show up for the fight, and of course I've heard this before, but knowing, sometimes, like, when you're going through your own stuff, like, you forget about basic essential things when you're in a relationship, because clearly you don't want to create all this negative atmosphere and energy into the relationship, because you were just being an ass or whatever. So it's like that's why I was saying, like, the whole thing when it comes to, like, gender roles and being aggressive and submissive, because the thing is about being aggressive and submissive, like, clearly, like I said, someone has to be a leader, someone has to be a follower in a relationship, and that's not to diminish you as being a person having rights and being able to speak up and having a voice, but it's also about sometimes you don't have to show up for the fight. You don't have to show up for the fight. I should name the video that you don't have to show up for the fight, aggressive and submissive, because clearly that's the thing. Like, I'm not a very confrontational person, but at the end of the day, no one's going to bump me. I'm not going to sit around and just be like, okay, like, that's just not who I am. So it's like, being in a relationship, you want to make sure you're able to create that atmosphere where you feel safe, where you feel comfortable, and you don't have to be put in the position where you feel like you have to be aggressive if you know that's not your leadership characteristic. And usually when people are in a relationship with one another, normally they usually are dating someone who has certain things that they don't, because obviously opposite attracts. So you can't just be with someone who's going to be completely 100 about everything, just like you can't be 100 about everything, because clearly if we both 100 and equally yoked, then there is no reason for us to be together. So but don't get me wrong, I do believe in having equally yoked characteristics, meaning that both of you guys offer things. In my opinion, you guys both offer things to one another that clearly you can't get from your own self or your own characteristics. Y'all know that much. But I just think I think with times changing or whatever, I feel like having a voice is just essential in a relationship, because you don't want it to get lost. And a lot of times when you're in love and you like someone, it's easy for you to lose your voice, because you easily become passive. Like, you just like, okay, and it's like, and then you don't want it to be years down the line, then you finally start feeling like you want to have a voice and start resenting the person that you formerly known, who is yourself, who is no longer yourself because you have found your voice. Like, I'm sure y'all see this stuff happen all the time. Like, people will invest their time, their energy, and all in a relationship for so long, and they lose sight of who they are. All they have become is a statistic of what the idea of their relationship should have been like. Okay, there's the man, he's the leader, he's the head of the household, he's the prime example of, making sure everything gets done XYZ on a financial step, yada yada yada. And there's your role. You're the follower, and you're pretty much going through the motions, following behind his leadership, and making sure that everything is, crossed, those T's are crossed, those I's are dotted, just for the sake of making sure everything stays cohesive. And there's nothing wrong with that, nor, but it's like, you don't want your relationship to be so based off of statistics of the aggressive and submissive roles that there's no um there's no gel, there's nothing to like make it stick, as far as in where those roles become so overpowering where no one feels like they can step out of their comfort zone in order to feel reassured about who they are as a person, because we not are just aggressive, we're not just submissive. Like, we are people who have emotions and feelings, from scale to 1 to 100 or whatever. So it's like, you want to make sure that that identity is never lost, because it will get trapped. Like recently, what's that? The whole Will and Jada and August Alsina entanglement, and how, like, I mean, clearly, I don't know, we don't know their relationship, but just from the outside looking in, like, they have gotten so used to having that idealistic relationship from us to see, like, oh, Will and Jada, they thugging it out. They always together, no matter what. You never hear about them in the tabloids and woo 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 woo. But it just took one moment of where they felt like they needed to separate, and they roles as being a couple or whatever was on the line, because, and in my opinion, like, I'm sure it's those gender heteronormative roles of there being someone who's masculine and aggressive in the relationship, and there's someone being feminine and submissive in the relationship or whatever. And sometimes, don't get me wrong, it can be different, but I just think that's why I'm saying, like, when you get wrapped up with those labels of leader, follower, and aggressive and submissive in relationships, then it's like you slowly but surely start to lose your identity until something like a light bulb go off, and then you're in a moment where you're having to separate yourself from the person that you've been with or been loving and hugging and all that other stuff, because of you don't want to play that role anymore. Like, you don't want to feel like that's your identity anymore. Like, you want to feel like you're able to be, maybe you want to be the leader, maybe you want to be the submissive person. Just the same thing for a man. Like, some men, that's usually what happens. Usually 9 out of 10, a lot of men step out of relationships because they are so used to, how can I say this, being leaders, that they want to go to be with someone else so they don't have to feel the necessary attachment of playing that role of having to do everything and making sure everything is done and reassured and stuff like that. And I mean, is I'm not gonna say that's the main reason, y'all know, before y'all try to come get me. It's not that out. It's not that, but it's more so about them stepping out because they feel like they have gotten so used to that. And a lot of women do it as well because they feel like they're not being heard, they don't have a voice. They want to go somewhere where they do feel they have a voice, just like with men. They want to go somewhere where they do have a voice or whatever, because those gender roles are so strong, or become such like a statement, a tattoo in the relationship, where it's like, what else do we have besides this? Nothing, because that's what we have built our relationship to be, those normatives for our lives, so we don't have to create anything. But it's just like I said, we're human, we're constantly evolving, we're constantly growing, and we have to make sure that we are holding partners accountable and ourselves accountable when it comes to the realization of what we need, what we want, and how we can manifest those things together where it's not a burden on either one of us or what have you. So this video really not gonna be that long because I'm trying to not have my videos so long, because I know like them 15 minutes and stuff like that. But see, this the thing, if my video 30 minutes, all you gotta do is just pop up your phone, iPad, laptop, whatever, then just fix you a meal, fix you something to wash the dishes, clean the house. You can do anything and still watch me. But nonetheless, as usual, like I'm always saying, thank you all for all the support. This video should be out Monday. As you guys can see, I got my little, 90s Monica hairstyle, whatever, for the verses. You need to give it. Okay, right. Can't even be doing all that singing because they'll be copyrighted me. But nonetheless, thank you guys for all the love, all the support. It doesn't go unnoticed. I appreciate everything. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I'm gonna try to be way more consistent with popping out these videos. Just give me a second, I'm gonna be right back. And yeah, until, hold on, my bad. Until next time, yeah, bye.